Task Factory is a suite of SSIS components available from Pragmaticworks. In this video, we'll look at the Trim Plus transform. In previous videos, I talked about data cleansing. We looked at the Task Factory case transform in order to correct capitalization in your data. We then looked at using the address parse transform to clean up address data. Spaces are another area that often needs attention when cleaning up your data. For that, the Task Factory Trim Plus was created. Here you can see I've got a simple table set up with 6 columns. I then insert a single row with the data that needs to be cleansed. Here I've got 5 spaces, then the word from start. I then have from end and 5 spaces after that. I then have from start and end with spaces on either side of it. I then have 3 more rows. This one begins with an asterisk and says specified characters from start. Then I have a similar text with an asterisk on the end. And finally I have an asterisk on front and the end. So with that data in there, we'll come over here and you can see I've set my source to my Trim Plus table. And there's those 6 columns. And we're going to come up here and scroll down, and there is our Trim Plus transform, which we're going to drop on here. And we'll wire it up. Let's open it up to edit it. Okay, let's come up here, and we're going to start picking our actions now for each input column. So for the from start, our action is going to be to trim all leading whitespace characters. And we'll choose to replace the column with the fixed data and click on OK. And then on the from end, we're going to do something similar by trimming all trailing whitespace characters. And we'll place OK. From the start and the end, yep, you guessed it, we're going to trim all leading and trailing characters. And we'll click OK. Now the transform is called Trim Plus for a reason. It's not only capable of trimming off spaces, but characters as well. So here, under specified characters from start and end, we're going to trim characters from start and end, and for the value, we're going to replace this with an asterisk. And we'll click OK. And we'll click OK again. Now, I'm not limited to just a single character. I can actually replace a word if I want to. So let's trim characters from the start. And this time we're going to trim off an asterisk and the word specified. And we'll click OK. And OK again. And then on end, we'll trim off specified characters from the end. And we'll just do the asterisk on this one. And we'll click OK. And we'll click OK again. Alright, now I'm going to do something just so that you can really see that this is actually working on the 2 that actually trail off spaces on the end. I'm going to come up here, we're going to put a derived column transformation in here. There we go. We'll open it up. Now on the columns, let's make this just a little bigger so we can see them. On the replace from end, our expression is going to be, drag the from end in here, and then I'm just going to tack on a few characters to the end. We'll just use zeros so that you can actually see the spaces are going to be gone. And we'll do the same thing on the from start and end. We're going to come down here to a new row. And from start and end. And the reason I'm doing this is so that you can actually see that those spaces are going to be gone. And we'll put 3 O's there. Click on OK. And now I need a way to actually see the output. So we'll come back down here and we're going to use another Task Factory component, the Terminator destination. The Terminator destination just takes whatever data is coming in and throws it away. But it's very handy for doing demos or development because you can come here, attach a data viewer, and the data viewer, we'll take the grid as the default, will let you actually see what data is flowing in. And finally, I'm going to take this and just clean it up a little bit. And we'll make them all the same width. And there we go. There, that'll look good. Okay, let's execute this. And here's our data viewer. You can see here, my from the start, the spaces in front of it are now gone. On the from end, you see those 5 spaces are gone, and you can tell that because I put 000 on the end. The same thing here, the spaces that were in front are gone, and the spaces at the end were gone. Otherwise, we'd have end space 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 000. Now, on specified characters from start, you can see the word specified with the asterisk is actually gone now. It just says characters from start. Here's our characters from the end, and you can see the asterisk is gone there. And here are characters from start and end. Make that big enough so we can see it. The asterisks are both gone. In a recent project, I had a really good use for trimming the characters from the start. One of the fields we were reading in was the username. Well, all their usernames had the domain, the slash, and then their actual username. Well, because they only had one domain, that domain was going to be the same on every single record that was coming in. So what we opted to do was to use the trim plus, and we actually removed the domain name and the backslash from the beginning of every username, and that way we only had to store the actual username. So that's just kind of one of many uses that you could use it for. And we've seen everything go well. We've got our row coming out, so we can just stop this. And there we go. We've seen Trim Plus in action. Not only can it remove spaces, but unwanted characters or words from the start or the end of our columns. To learn more about Trim Plus or any of the other components in Task Factory, visit us at pragmaticworks.com.